Bring your pitchforks. Let us know how wrong we are. Shower?
I think it's Schroer.
Schroer?
Yeah.
Schroer?
It's tough getting in front of a camera with a microphone here and giving an honest take on how things are. And
did you bring your popcorn?
did I bring my popcorn?
Boy, oh boy, there's a lot of scandals happening in parkour.
Mm-hmm.
Prime popcorn eating time.
Do you think parkour gets, well, no, it doesn't. I was going to say, do you think parkour gets more scandals than other sports?
We're not special.
No, we're not.
No, absolutely not. Which scandal do you want to start with first? Because there's so many.
Well, the more obvious one that has recently been, I guess, brought up again, because technically this scandal is over. It's an old scandal. Mm-hmm. But is it Max Ward?
Yeah.
Okay. Max Ward, or Maximus.
Yeah.
Who I recently subscribed to on YouTube, and I think you should too, because one reason being that he is kind of doing what good old Jimmy the Giant was doing for us back in the day, and doing a good job of it. And his recent video is exposing the Fight or Flight Academy / Project Parkour, what was it called?
Yeah.
Scandal.
The scandal of scandals. I don't know how deep we want to go into talking about what happened, but
do you want to try to summarize for people
try.
that aren't aware?
Yeah. So basically, parkour gym in America, COVID hits. They come up with this plan to teach parkour online, and they're going to do so with online course, with some kind of online course platform. And they
can I stop you there?
Yeah.
How many gyms do you think did this?
Oh, definitely at least a handful. Yeah.
Because we also...
Yeah, we started doing it.
We never released our pivot.
Yeah. Anyway, so they decided they're doing this online course platform to teach parkour globally. Instead of being restricted just to the gym, they enlist a bunch of professional parkour people who have large followings, to be like, what is it? Like master class kind of teachers, or like special instructors for the online course. And then they host a, what's it called? An online contest to it's like, post the coolest line. And if you win based on audience votes, then you will be invited to make a master class and also receive $10,000. And it was huge, right? It's $10,000 USD to, if you win, all you have to do is like film the best parkour clip, and then you could potentially win. Anyway, it's shrouded with controversy because ultimately, according to this video, the winner, Christian Koleski, didn't actually receive all of the 10K that he was promised based on the whole contest. And also, like all the other athletes, they never ended up making the master classes. And then they also released a Kickstarter to raise the funds for it. And so all of this money was raised by the community to, well, for one, pay for the prize money for this online contest. And then two, also basically release their course to those people. And some people actually bought in. And if it shows like one person who did buy in has access to the course, and it hasn't been updated since the initial release, and it is very sparse, right? There's only like the basic moves for how to learn like some of the basic skills, and there's only one masterclass instructor instead of the 6 or so that were initially promised. Anyway, we're like almost 4 years on.
Yeah, that was 2020.
Yeah, so we're almost 4 years past it, and now Max puts out this video exposing what a scandalous kind of scenario this was, and and it features Dom, who is one of the supposed masterclass instructors, and he was like, yeah, this was all really sketchy, and they lied to me, and they tried to get me to use my platform to promote their product without paying him, and so on. So it was a whole weird scenario. And it's funny because Dylan, our good friend Dylan Poland, he actually very early on was like, something is super fishy about this. And he started collecting like information about it and trying to get to the bottom of it. He never really, got all the way in, but Max finally released this video that kind of exposes all of the inner workings of what happened, at least from the perspective of Dom and the people from the outside. It's hard to know exactly what was going on inside Fight or Flight Academy.
He did reach out to Fight or Flight Academy and didn't get a response.
Right.
Initially.
But after releasing the video, they did respond.
They have responded.
Did you want to...
I do want to go over that in a sec here. Before we do, though, and again, you should check out the video if you want this laid out in a more digestible form. It's Max did a great job with the video, so do go check that out. And it as you mentioned, it features Dom. He said he spoke with Christian as well. I don't know if there were any other athletes that he got information from.
Well, Adam Dorr was he was
someone who
So he purchased it. So he had access to the course, so he was able to show Max like what was in the actual course.
Yeah, so from the looks of it right now, and this is what I kind of wanted to try to confirm, I guess, is Project Parkour isn't doing anything. Like, it exists, they have their online course, but it hasn't been updated probably since 2020. Do you know, does Fight or Flight Academy still exist?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so there's still an operating gym. All right. You didn't talk about the video. Not Max's video. The Project Parkour video.
Oh, like
initially it came out. I just remember it being, I'm just gonna use the word cringe.
Yeah, that was the first word that came to mind.
When it dropped.
We've done cringe stuff before.
I know.
Though, so it's like, I don't know.
But it was also like just like next level almost, and I don't know how much of that was intentional versus unintentional.
Yeah.
How much of it was camp versus like actual personalities. But yeah, people bought. I don't know. We also had like a cheeky response with SPL around the time too, because we did an online comp that was like the only non-style online comp, and I think I wrote in something in the script for Josh Dowie to read about just like the amount of prize money, and it was supposed to be like a reference to what was going on with Project Parkour, because it was just unbelievable that they could shut down their gym and then afford to be putting out a $10,000 prize when they haven't even started this new business venture yet.
Yeah.
And I think the defense that's made in the video for that is that apparently they were doing poorly as a gym, and then they got rid of an owner or someone involved.
There was somebody who was embezzling money.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, actually, we're making way more money than we thought because the person was embezzling all the money and stealing it for themselves instead of it kind of showing up as profit in their bank account.
Yeah, but even I would imagine that there are more profitable parkour gyms out there, and none of them were jumping on an opportunity to give away $10,000 in the middle of closures. So that was already
super uncertain future too, right? Like, we don't know what's going to happen with COVID. So it's a weird scenario.
And then it makes sense that they start raising money after the fact because of course they didn't have it.
Yeah.
When I think about operation costs too, so like let's say a gym spends, I'm just going to ballpark some numbers for an American gym. Let's say they spend $15,000 a month on rent. Let's say they spend another $20,000 that would be a small amount, but we'll say $20,000 on staff. So you're already at $35K, and you're closing for multiple months, and you're trying to reopen and bring back your staff. I'm not sure what sort of like government help was there, but again, like just giving away $10,000 doesn't seem reasonable. Doesn't seem like a thing that a gym business could have done at the time.
Yeah.
So I was already like, as soon as they dropped it, I was like, how is this going to work?
I also know that like they have historically been not really a kids-oriented parkour facility. They've actually like catered there mostly to adults, which to me is it's an odd choice because the largest market by far is kids, and so yeah, for a business to be relying almost entirely on adults and then be like, cool, we're just going to give away 10K. Yeah, it's just, there are so many fishy things about it, which is, I think, what set like Dylan's alarm clocks off. Alarm bells.
I think there was one positive interaction in the video too, which was from Luke Albrecht, who was, I guess, the only person who got paid to do a masterclass.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you were mentioning the response, which I'll pull up here. Just give me a moment. Okay, so initially, when Max was trying to gather information for this video, he did reach out. He did his best job to be a good documentarian, journalist, whatever you want to call it, and tried to get the full story. So he did send them a message, but they didn't reply. So they have now replied since then to the video, and this is how it goes. We think you did a great job on this video. Great production, great presentation, journalistic integrity, thorough research. This is everything a viewer would want from a video like this and is comparable to a channel like CoffeeZilla. This is not sarcasm. You truly made a quality video. That's the first paragraph. Thoughts on the first paragraph?
I mean, that's a standard tactic, right? Of, agree with the person, initially.
So they're starting to make a shit sandwich?
It's it's a negotiation tactic. But yeah, go ahead.
As always, there are two sides to the story, and we think much of the information here has been misrepresented through no fault of our own. You did reach out to us, and we failed to respond to the messages. I feel like those two things contradict each other.
No, through no fault of your own.
Through no fault of your own.
Yeah,
right. Okay. Sorry, I misread. Through no fault of your own. Okay. Final paragraph here. We would love the opportunity to talk with you publicly. You can invite anyone you like. Our two requests are that our conversations be uploaded in full to this channel, and you give us a little time to gather receipts. We will follow up through email to get this set up.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great response from them. It gives them, it potentially shows that they're willing to communicate about what actually happened from their perspective, which is helpful because that's the one side of the story we're completely missing out on. I don't know how they're going to come back from this. It's very, all of the evidence points to a very damning scenario. So it's I find it very hard that they're going to come back. I do, however, think that there might be some additional shady business, not directly from them, but from another partner that they had. And the reason I say that is because I think they actually partnered with some sketchy business dude to do this whole project. And the reason I know that is because this guy ended up friending me on Facebook or something like that, and he started posting into a parkour business,
parkour gym owners
Facebook, and I saw it and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And then he started bragging about how he exited a parkour business. So he grew the business to a certain point and then got paid to sell his shares or whatever. So my hunch is that this guy did some sketchy things, maybe promised them some things, and then they're going to end up playing in this conversation. If it ever happens with Max Ward, I think they're going to try to play a victim card of we were actually victims of some other shady business practices, and we were unfortunately left holding the bag.
Right.
So that's my hypothesis. I have no idea how deep this goes because I don't really know anything behind the scenes other than there was this one guy who seemed kind of sketchy that they were affiliated with, and they clearly are definitely not after the fact.
Yeah. Max also agreed to do this.
Yeah.
He I don't have that copy here, but he did respond and agree. So it does look like there will be another video of their conversation posted. I guess what I don't like about it and there's really nothing that can be done about that, is they're kind of trying to set the terms.
Yeah.
You know, they're the final part is like, we'd love the opportunity to talk with you. You can invite anyone you like. Our two requests, well, I guess their requests are that our conversation be uploaded in full to this channel, and you give us, okay, so they give us time, sure, take your time to, like, I guess, or gather receipts, but also, you know, make an argument.
Yeah. I mean, I don't fault them for that, because it's like, you know, they already feel, or at least they're saying in this statement, that they already feel that this video misrepresents what has happened. So to want that conversation to be uploaded in full is a reasonable ask, because it's like, Max could, in theory, go and edit it up and misrepresent what they're saying. I don't think he would, but, you know, and I don't know. It's just, but I guess that's just a way to protect. It's like, okay, at least we can tell our full story without anybody interfering with the edit or whatever. Yeah,
it's just the way I kind of see it going, or picturing ahead, and I don't actually know much about Max's character, so I could be wrong on this, but it seems like it could be like a very like one-way conversation, and Max potentially not being able to ask like tough questions or question them on anything that gets brought up, and just taking like their word for it, I guess. So it does.
But they said you can invite anybody you want. So I don't know. Maybe invite somebody who's willing to.
Get the captain of the debate team in there.
But I don't know. Like I again, it's very damning. Like the evidence points to a very damning situation for them. But I also am the type of person that I'm curious. I'm curious what actually went down from their perspective, because maybe there's actually a lot that would fill in the story, and maybe we don't necessarily think that they're 100% at fault, maybe like 80%, you know?
Yeah, I guess I'm curious more about like how much they're willing to take responsibility for.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. We will see. Yeah. Hopefully this conversation happens. I mean, nothing's set in stone. I know Max agreed to it, but they might pull out. Stay tuned. We'll see. I do. Yeah. I think that we should maybe leave it there. There's not much more to be said about it, because we don't really know any more information except for what's in the video and this response. So
I guess the last thing we could say is that, and I'll frame this as a question to you. When it comes to like the $10,000 prize and the timing and everything like that, do you think parkour athletes are vulnerable to this type of thing?
Yeah. Yeah. To being like taken advantage. Yeah. I mean, even not even like, I mean, the winner, Christian, he, you know, probably was taken advantage of, right? Because I think what ultimately they gave him was, oh, we're going to give you some of the money, but then the other part of the money is you just won a job. Yeah. So now you have to do work to receive the other part of the money. So, but yeah, I think everybody was like, ooh, 10K? Of course I'm going to enter into this competition. It seems like it's, you know, this could be life-changing money, because parkour people are scrappy and poor, and I'm speaking very painting very broad.
A lot of the best athletes in parkour are the best athletes in parkour because they're spending most of their time focusing on that craft, instead of pursuing like a career in something that would make them more financially well off.
Wow, that's very well articulated. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, so they're being taken advantage of, but even the like other masterclass athletes or coaches. I mean, somebody promises to like, hey, I'm gonna fly you out, and you're gonna get paid like a little bit of money, and you're gonna be able to do this. And it's like, I think people end up feeling like, oh, this is an opportunity. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna seize the opportunity because it's valuable to me. It probably, if you're thinking about somebody like Dom, it might not be as valuable, right? It's like, well, I'm not going to promote this without you paying me. I have 1 million followers on Instagram. Like, but somebody maybe a little bit lower might, like lower followers or just like maybe slightly less well-known, they might end up getting taken advantage of because they have a skill set and this company is willing to, dangle a little carrot in front of them.
All right. Should we move on to scandal number 2?
This is the one that I think you're most excited about.
I don't know if I'm excited about it. Yeah, no, excited's not the word. I'm disappointed, I guess.
Okay.
And I do have mixed feelings, and some of them are definitely contrarian, but here we go. Jujimufu has developed a new product. They are his very good sweatpants. And before I even saw Jujimufu's post for these very good sweatpants, I actually saw, and I don't know how to pronounce this, Skochypstyks.
Your guess is as good as mine.
It's like Lululemon,
Yeah.
The owner of that brand, we'll just say Scotchy for now because I think they're happy to use that as a short, posted a video claiming that the pants are, in fact, his sweatpant design from not as of 9 or plus years ago. I guess we'll say a decade plus.
Yeah. Like 2014 or something.
And I am aware of the Scotchy brand. I've never bought anything. But I am aware.
And they are a parkour specific brand.
Mm-hmm. So they put out a video which basically is just a cut up of Jujimufu's video saying, hey, we sent you pants back in I think they said 2015 to review. And then there's a video of like Jujimufu like reviewing the pants.
Yeah.
And doing tricks in them. And these pants are, I guess we'll say like appear to be, but they're saying are outright like the same. These are the same pants. These have the same cut. They have the same like pockets. I actually, what's really missing from this for me is like, I want the specifics of like how the same these are.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the video ends with basically saying, and there's like a title on it that says Scotchy was robbed and like, please help. And so what happens after this is if you were to go over to Jujimufu's post, you would just see a wall of messages from parkour people either shaming Jujimufu or telling them they're disappointed or telling them they do, which is not why I'm disappointed, by the way. I'm not necessarily disappointed in Jujimufu. I'm disappointed in the situation. And it's just like an attack on Juji now because of this. So I'm going to throw to you first on this one. What are your thoughts on the overall on this overall scandal as it is, I guess, still unfolding?
Okay, so my initial thoughts are that I feel sympathy for Scotchy because there's really nothing legally they can do because apparently clothing is not, you're not really able to enforce it because there's no real patent on design for a pair of sweatpants. And so you can't take him to court and sue him for losses. I don't know the details of the law, but that's apparently what the owner of Scotchy has been referencing. So I feel sympathy for them because, like, I can see where, you know, if you've worked hard on a product or a service and then somebody comes along and with maybe a larger following or more money or more resources behind them, they can just take it and just repackage it as their own. And that feels shitty. So in short, I feel sympathy for them.
Okay. I agree. I can agree with that too, and I can get on board. I definitely know what it feels like to be copied. Mm-hmm. Definitely know what it feels like. And we don't make clothing here, but just running a gym, running SPL, we've certainly been copied on various things. And even it's funny to me sometimes when people will reach out and kind of like tell on someone. They're like, oh, did you see this? They're like doing what you guys did. or people ask like permission to. I've had that too, which is always nice. If people ask permission to like copy or see things. So yeah, I know what it feels like. It definitely sucks, but I think there's ways around it, and they don't necessarily involve like publicly slandering the person who copied you, or the business that copied you. So I can think of times where, yeah, I have been copied. I can think of times too when I like was younger, like in my my 20s and more new to business, where there's been things I've posted online that were like regrettable, where I've like cryptically called someone out on something that I felt envious about or that they copied on, right? So I'm not like innocent on this like slandering thing, but I don't recall ever going like this far on anything, but also maybe I haven't been copied to like this extent. However, again, what I feel like we're still missing here is details on like, is it the exact same fabric? Is it the exact same cut? Is it the exact same sort of thing? And I was actually kind of like looking, the more I sort of got into this, the more I started to look into like the details, and I'm like, yeah, I guess like they're similar here and similar there, but the way that it's framed in the Scotchy video is that like they're Scotchies. These are like, he holds up the pants and like, these are very good sweatpants, and it's like, no, they're Scotchies. That's what makes them very good. Juji has replied to some of the comments.
Okay.
Have you read his?
No, I haven't.
So his reply, as of 4 days ago, and he deleted some of the comments, but he said, "Hi everyone, for the safety of myself, my team, and our community, we've removed a number of harassing comments that were defamatory, false, and threatening, which are contrary to the platform's terms of service and also arguably illegal." So he's talking about Instagram, and he's also talking about slander or libel, or whatever you want to call it. Similar to how I design all of the pants that I sell, I work with a designer at a manufacturing facility and give them my wish list and rough ideas for how I want the pants to look, the features I need, and the kind of fabric I want. When creating this product, I wanted a slightly baggier traditional sweatpants product in classic colors with some nice extra details and a comfortable, simple quality construction. Then we go from there, making samples and getting a final design and pattern together. The Scotchy products are not traditional sweatpants. They are premium parkour gear with different fabrics, sizing, colors, details, and market. A similarity they share is that they are baggy cotton poly pants with construction as such to compensate for additional legroom. If you want to do parkour or go to a rave party, get some Scotchy. They are great pants and look the part. If you want a very good traditional sweatpants product, then that's what I'm selling. Our products are different physically, they meet different needs, and the communities and locations we serve are different. I have all the respect for the quality and care Scotchy puts into their product and brand. We did not steal anything, and we are not competition. Moreover, the fact that Scotchy never reached out to me to ask what was going on before disparaging my name on the internet by calling me a thief without talking to me first is disappointing. I know that I have a large social media following, but at the end of the day, I'm not a conglomerate out to kill small businesses, because my business is a small family business that keeps myself and 3 other people employed. I hope everyone understands this situation better. There are enough people on the planet wearing pants for all of us to experience one or many brands and styles. He then continued to get shitted on by parkour people in the comments. I can't really disagree with his response.
Okay, so it all hinges on whether he's telling the truth in that first little section where he says when he designs all of his pants, he communicates what he wants to a facility overseas, and they come up with a design, and various iterations of the design, and then they go back and forth until they have the product. If he's telling the truth there, where it's just like, oh yeah, I wanted a zipper pocket here, and I wanted like a nice loose fit or whatever. I'm not a clothing designer. I don't know enough. If he's telling the truth there, then ultimately it's not really his fault that he ended up in this situation where he has pants that are very similar to Scotchy. if he's lying and he took the Scotchy pants and sent them to the factory, and the factory was like, cool, we'll reproduce these in different colors or whatever the result is, then I think he's a scumbag.
Okay, let's focus on number 2 there. Let's focus on number 2. Okay, here's a product I like.
Yep.
Right? Foam roller water bottle. Mobot, the Tempest. Tempest did a thing with them at some point. I don't know if they're still doing it or if they're just trying to get rid of the product, but it's great. You can foam roll with it, and it's a water bottle. One thing I would like to do is potentially have some sort of partnership with Mobot, because I actually think it's a great product, and we've talked about this. However, what if we did our own?
Yeah.
Are we scumbags?
Maybe a little bit.
Because part of this to me is like, you can get a product, and like businesses do this all the time. They do it all the time, everywhere. Like some of your favorite products are just knockoffs of another product that someone found to do cheaper. And in fact, when it's done that way, when it's made cheap, so like if you say you're into Gucci,
yeah,
and someone makes a knockoff of like Gucci, or even a better example, say you're into Rolexes, say you're into watches, right? And someone makes like a knockoff Rolex or something. That's almost like usually celebrated is like, oh, I get this luxury looking thing, but not at the luxury brand prices, right? And so when it's actually like a smaller brand or a smaller business that takes the bigger brand's product, it's usually okay. And I think in this example, because it's like a small business and you're taking their ideas and their product and repackaging it, it's not okay. And again, Juju's trying to defend himself in saying that like, I'm also a small business. I'm not like some giant conglomerate. And he's right. I don't know. I still, if what you're saying, like this, the second option where it's like, make these exact ones, it is underhanded, because if they sent them to him to try, and he made a review, and then time goes by and they're it was kind of, there's a whole missing story in here, I feel like, because okay, this was 9 years ago, he tried them, he was wearing them, he stopped wearing them, because Juju's had a lot of different like pants sponsors and things throughout the years now, like jeans and such, and now he's coming out with his own like baggy sweatpants, which probably not going to do super well anyways, but neither here nor there. If he did in fact do that, it's kind of weird that like, how did we get there? How did we get from this like 9 years ago relationship where he's, I guess, an ambassador for Scotchy because they're giving him free sweatpants to review, to now where he essentially is like ripping off, either blatantly ripping off the product, or somehow by like accidentally making thing that has like striking similarities. Yeah, I just feel like there's something missing in the middle there, but I don't know if we'll ever know, because I don't know if anyone's gonna make a YouTube video about it.
Yeah. Come on, Maximus. Hit us with another one. I'd watch it.
That would be right up his alley, along with the video they just did. So maybe that will happen.
Yeah.
Because it would be good to hear from both stories, and particularly both sides, and fill in the blanks. I would say like disappointed, and I agree with Juju in the disappointment part, because apparently the owner of Scotchy didn't like just reach out to him as soon as he posted the video and made the product and be like, hey, those look like my pants exactly. Yeah. What's the deal? Yeah. He went public right away. Everybody
grab your pitchfork. It's time for another witch hunt, right?
Yeah.
So, and I guess like that's the thing about these types of things, is I feel like parkour is really prone to witch hunt behavior. Mm-hmm. And this is an example of witch hunting. And again, do I have sympathy for Scotchy? 100%. I do. The first action should have been reach out to Juju directly. And if no response, then maybe try witch hunt. But at the end of the day, you're not going to, like, it's only going to just end up turning people against Juji who are in parkour and probably not his customers anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other point, and I think yours alluded to this, but I don't believe Scotchy is going to be losing any business or money off of this. If anything, they may have just gained some sales off of putting out this video, because he actually boosted it too. Scotchy boosted the video version where it's calling out Jujimufu, and this has a bunch of people rallying behind him.
This is serving to be ultimately a advertisement for Scotchy.
100%.
And people in parkour are potentially more likely to now know about Scotchy if they didn't know about it before, and potentially buy from Scotchy to support this business in spite of Juji's copy product. But yeah, I think they serve completely different markets. So it's like, I don't think anybody who buys Juji's sweatpants would have bought Scotchy's instead.
Yeah, that's the point that Juji's trying to make, and I think it's valid, and I think it's correct. I don't think Scotchy loses any customers. So say the call out never happened, and say Scotchy wasn't aware that Juji put out the pants, right? Again, he doesn't lose any customers. Scotchy doesn't, and Juji gets left alone.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, what was the point of all this? I think it's almost like there was a missed opportunity, and that's how I would feel personally if it was my business, if I was making pants, and Jujimufu put out and I had done the same thing, sent him a pair of pants, he reviewed them. Who knows what happened in the middle, but say we lost touch, and then he puts out like a almost identical product. I would be in part outraged, so I can be sympathetic with that. But I would also be upset with myself that there was a missed opportunity for potentially furthering that relationship to reach like Juji's market. Because what if this was like a product that had two brands on it, you know? What if it was, the Scotchy baggies with Juji's logo on it, but Scotchy like produced them and shared in the sales of them, you know?
Yeah.
So I can see that there.
So so Scotchy has been saying kind of alluding to this, like, oh, like we're always open for collaborations and things like that. But it's unfortunate because again, we went to pitchforks and witch hunting instead of establishing a stronger instead of them establishing a stronger relationship earlier on before the sweatpants were created. So I don't know. It just kind of feels like an annoyingly bad situation all around. And you said this before we started recording, but you said that you're embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I want you to elaborate on this.
Okay. I want to get to that, but there's but before I do though, just another thing just about this product in general and some other products. So someone had actually, I guess I saw a comment on one of the videos to Scotchy about Etrafort. Because Etrafort makes baggy sweatpants, right?
Yeah. And
we're like, did you have any issues? And the whoever runs the Scotchy account, I'm assuming it's the owner. Do you know his name, by the way? I keep just referring.
Sasa
or Sasha?
Sebo.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep saying Scotchy. So Scotchy responds and says like, oh yeah, we had some issues, but like they were resolved and like nothing came with it. So I find that kind of interesting too, where it's like there's only so many different ways you can make sweatpants, you know. And so someone's bound to copy you on sweatpants unless like you're doing some really funky like designs and logos with colors and stuff. But as far as like the cut and the fit and like zipper pockets, like there's only some when I first saw the video, this is kind of what was going through my head, is I'm like, okay, you both made similar sweatpants. So what? I don't get it. And that's actually why I'm just desperate for like the details. Like I would love it if someone had both sweatpants in their hands and are like, these are actually exactly the same. They have a case here. But right now, to me, it just looks like, okay, they made similar sweatpants, but that's not hard to do, particularly if even if Juji went through the methods that he's claiming he went through, and that's the result that came out. It's like, oh, these are pretty much the same. Okay, cool. All right. The other thing I wanted to point out is this is the stuff that because this is when I was talking about I meant to go here when I was talking about Rolexes and Gucci, and I kind of forgot the tangent I was going on there. But Parkour shoes. We have Parkour brands have been guilty of ripping off a number of shoes. So we have No Obstacles, KO.
The original KOs.
Ripped off Kalengis. Like completely.
They took Kalengis, sent them to a factory and said, can you reproduce this with our logo on it?
Tempest ripped off K-Swiss, SI-18 I think was the brand.
Yeah.
And then Olo has recently ripped off the Vans, the UltraRange. And I found this ironic because I did some bit of sleuthing. So Skochypstyks.com has an article about parkour shoes, and it features the Olo Alpha. And it's right below, I'm just going to hold this up here. There we go. And it's right below the Vans UltraRange. So it says, Olo Alpha, parkour-specific shoes that resemble Vans UltraRange in almost all aspects, except the grip. The grip has way more rubber than the UltraRange, which should, in theory, make it more durable. The other noticeable differences in the midsole thickness and slightly lower heel drop. But since I never tried these shoes, I should refer myself from commenting. Okay, so the reason I thought that was ironic is it's on Scotchy's website, and he's saying, oh, yeah, they copied almost all aspects, almost identical, of the Vans UltraRange, but it's okay because it's a parkour brand doing it. And again, I guess it matters like how identical they really are and everything. And but the intent there from Olo, from Tempest, from KO back in the day.
Take Flight.
Take Flight.
Take Flight did
what shoe did they do?
The Onitsuka Tiger.
Right. Yes.
Identical shoe to that.
And so the point was to actually copy. And we're all okay with it. And is it okay because technically it's like punching up and we're looking at like Juji is punching down? I don't know the case, but I do think it's just important for us to like look at some of our I'm losing it. I think it's important for us to look at the differences here, or the similarities, I should say, and what's okay and what's not okay and where the line is. Because otherwise we're just, as you said, I'm kind of embarrassed when a lot of people in parkour will band together, jump to conclusions, and just start shitting on some guy like Jujimufu who, and some people said this, I've been a Jujimufu fan since like 2002. I found tricks tutorials and I didn't even try to do tricks. I just thought he was hilarious, and some friends showed me it, and I found it before parkour. And many people, I actually read comments with like similar stories, but like, now I'm so disappointed, and it's crazy to like throw away all that history for something that you have not really thought about that much and don't have a lot of details about.
Yeah. Well, it's like we really, as humans, we really like to band together in tribes, and like there's a lot of tribalism, right? And you can see it in every topic, politically or otherwise. And this is just another example of parkour people banding together and being tribalist about a situation with, again, another witch hunt. There's so many examples of these happening in parkour over the years. And it, like, do you remember the controversy with Pasha and Riley Reid?
Yep.
Happily married with a kid now. That was.
Did he ever get an apology?
Probably not. I mean, why would they?
I'm asking that, but really quick, I'm asking that, but like, I guess some people would still feel justified in the post that was, everyone was upset about.
Yeah, I find it really weird that people felt so strongly about that. Neither here nor there. I guess the point is that we end up always falling into these stupid witch hunts, and it's like, if we all just like think for a second and just like think independently for a moment, instead of like, oh, what is the person I agree with thinking about this? just, relax a little bit and like, yeah, like I'm looking at it from the outside. I'm not trying to bully or shame Jujimufu with comments saying that he's a scumbag. There's a part of me in the back of my head that's like, he might be a scumbag, but like, I'm not going to buy the pants. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I also never bought Scotchies. So I have no stake in the matter. And if me being a parkour athlete has nothing to do with my association between these two brands. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had read a comment, I'm not going to say who said it, but I had read and screenshot a comment where someone was stating like the entire parkour community stands behind Scotchy, and it's simply not true. Yeah. Again, like I've never bought any other product. I'm aware of the brand. I've never bought any of the products, nor do I plan to. I don't particularly like the styles.
I don't think I've worn a pair of sweatpants since 2012. So I'm not the target market for either businesses, right? Mm-hmm. So I have another example. I think it's a funny one. So okay. maybe we'll use this to
kind of wrap it up. I feel like I poorly organized my thoughts here, but hopefully the point is across. Again, just I guess to wrap this one up. Yeah. I think both of us are sympathetic to Scotchy. I think both of us can understand as people being involved in small businesses, knowing what it feels like to be ripped off, knowing what it feels like to be copied. I do think that and I do think a lot, at the end of the day, a lot of this could have been more maturely and more professionally handled behind closed doors before publicly calling them out and doing the whole bit. And so that sucks as well. And so I have to feel for Juji on this part to be just called out and essentially like harassed, like, as he said, harassed like that. And there seems to be quite a bit of information missing. The last point I want to make is that this happens in fashion and clothing all the time. Ideas get ripped off, and that is kind of part of the game. Here's the point I wanted to make. If you're a brand, if you're a business, you can't just stand on details like that of your product. Your brand has to mean more than just, these are like the pants, these are how they fit, these are the fabrics they made with, because it's too easy to copy and nothing is going to protect you from being copied. A much bigger company, most companies don't want to make big baggy sweatpants right now. But if they did, it would be very, very easy to rip off, and there's not a whole lot you could do about it. So as a brand, you have to go all in on, and which Scotchy does, goes all in on parkour. Parkour is the niche. They're about community. Again, they're more than just the sweatpants.
Yeah. You ever watch Shark Tank?
A couple times.
So Shark Tank, like anytime somebody has a product on the Shark Tank, they're like, oh, here's my mousetrap. It's cool and it does this. They're always like, well, do you have a patent on it? And they're like, no. And they're like, well, what's stopping Acme mousetraps from just ripping off your mousetrap design? Yeah. And it's like, oh, nothing. So it's like, okay, either you got to act fast or you got to do something to set your brand apart that makes people want to buy your mousetrap, the better mousetrap, because it's better.
Well, that is brand.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like if you have two identical products and people like this one more, this one has the better brand.
Okay. So I have a very funny example. So we talked about Olo ripping off Vans. We talked about Take Flight ripping off Onitsuka Tigers. We talked about Tempest ripping off K-Swiss. We talked about KO's ripping off Kalenjis. I'm sure there's actually other shoes out there. But do you remember Nike PK?
I do.
The tagline for Nike PK was bootlegs until they notice us. So the whole concept behind Miguel selling these shirts was that it is a bootleg of the real thing. And I just think it's a funny example of like, it's okay to punch up.
Yeah, it's okay. It's almost seen as like you're the Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Stealing from the rich, giving to the poor.
Yeah.
That's, what people want. But it's like, okay, but both of y'all still copying.
Okay. Let's move on, because that was a very lively discussion and probably a very contrarian discussion in the parkour world. We might actually get a lot of hate. Leave some hate in the comments for us. Bring your pitchforks. Let us know how wrong we are. But again, like I'm very sympathetic to Scotchy. It sucks to be ripped off, and especially if it is exact replicas. Okay, so
and the story's not done.
The story's not done. Yeah, the saga continues. We'll see what happens in the midterm. All
right, final topic.
Yeah,
we just finished actually viewing a single watch of Ezra Schroer's new video by Manor, that you can find on the Commons.Boston, the Commons.Boston website, Sandbox.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
Ezra?
Schroer?
I think it's Schroer.
Schroer?
Yeah.
Schroer?
Oh, maybe it is.
Maybe it's Schroer.
Well, okay. How do you say Alex? Is it Alex Schroer?
Shower. Yes, Alex Schroer, I think.
Taking a shower?
I think it is, yeah. Okay. Alex Schroer.
Maybe it is Schroer.
Sorry, I derailed.
That's okay. I wasn't going anywhere.
Ezzy Sandbox, produced by Manor, and available on the Commons.Boston. I'm going to be honest, as we often are here on STS. I'm going to be honest, and I was not stoked to watch it because I didn't like the trailer.
I don't even remember the trailer too much.
There you go. Trailer did nothing for me. In fact, it made me not want to watch it actively because it was, it has the whole VHS kind of look to it, and I'm getting more and more annoyed by parkour films just having this look of the 90s. I grew up in the 90s. I don't want to go back. We have way better technology now. Now, wasn't stoked to watch it. When we watched it, I loved the video. It was really good. It was really, really good, actually. I do have some criticisms, but mostly I would just say I want to talk about the good things, because the art style of the VHS stuff integrated into it really well. But it wasn't like a video that was all filmed on a crappy camera. It was more the whole video had more of just kind of this set aesthetic of these transitions and more pixely style to it. What's Tyler?
Spiffy Hippie.
Spiffy Hippie made this little. I don't know if he did the animation or if he drew. Yeah, so he did the animation of this dude who's just he's got the skate kind of looking vibe, but he looks like Ezzy, and he's got hands in his pockets and just kind of walking. I love that little feature, and it kind of recurs through the video, and but the actual footage looks like it's shot super well. It's on a higher quality camera, so you're not pretending like you're in the 90s. And the actual movement is fire, and he does so many cool, interesting things. He's got flip precisions down so nicely, and he does some weird ones, a couple that I've never seen before. As he's such a unique mover, he's also got this crazy small compact body style, and he does all these untwisting things. And I think I was telling you some of the I guess one little criticism is just some of the, and it's more of a criticism of me of being old and a little bit out of touch, but some of the avant-garde style of movement where we're seeing, I don't know, we've called it new style before, or a little bit beansy if we want to go there. Some of it I just don't understand that well, so it's hard for me to see have the same vision of an athlete like this, but a lot of it I can relate to, and I do understand, and I think they did an excellent job filming, editing it, and then Ezzy really stepped up and did some really cool stuff. So my one major criticism of it, which is not super major, is it starts off with other athletes. And I feel like it wasn't done very well in this project, but they did a better job of it in Maven, which is Chris Ross' project from last year. And I feel like in Maven, they incorporated Chris's friends in it, but it was more like, it wasn't like right at the beginning. It was kind of more like integrated into the video, and it's like they're almost like, it's almost like they're seshing the same spot, and it's like, oh, now you get to see Chris's buddies do like just throw down one little thing. But in this one, it starts off with other people, and it's like, okay, well, when is it gonna be Ezzy's video? And once it does kick in, I was like, cool, I'm in it now. And then the rest of the video was fine. But it was a weird choice to like start off with other people for a personal, like it's for a solo project.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to what you've already said there. I almost actually felt like an immediate rewatch. But
I wouldn't mind watching it again after this.
This is what we're gonna do. But it's because it was an entertaining watch. It didn't feel like a 9-minute watch. It actually went by like pretty quickly.
It was engaging, I would say. Yeah.
Bit of a, like I said, like bit of a weird and a slow start. Like a lot of just the music and sound choices at the beginning of the video are, I mean, I think they're supposed to be unusual. I think that's the point, right? But it took a sec to get in. I think on the rewatch, I think that's actually going to be the tricky part. Is like that first like minute or so is like, let me get in here. Okay, now I'm in. From there, it goes by like pretty quickly. But yeah, so much of the movement goes over my head, and so I just need to have a rewatch, and like I don't want to be watching something the first time and like pausing it and rewinding and stuff.
Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe that's what we'll do for the next watch. Is we'll take our time working through it to comprehend what's happening.
Yeah. I do want to also say as props to Ezzy. He has some of the cleanest flip pre's.
Yeah,
like just the cleanest landings on the flip pre's, and there are a number of them. In this project.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He actually last time I saw him, I can't remember if it was here or I think it was at like Join or Die. He said, "Do you remember when you met me back at?" Because it was at Tempest Dallas. I'm like, yeah, of course, because he was competing, but he actually competed in skill and style. Oh. And that's actually something people, I think, maybe when you see this video, although there is some like traditional parkour in the video, he does have that, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is that he does actually have a very solid traditional parkour base, and I think that's actually why you see so much of the clean technique. So again, he's taking this new style, which sometimes can get pretty sloppy, but he does everything so clean also. Yeah.
He's got such a compact like body type that and I mean, it's not just his body type that does it, it's his skill, but he works with it super well. I don't know. Love watching him move. So highly recommend this video to watch. And from the filmmaking perspective, I really love Manner's style with like the way they like frame certain shots, and they use those shots as like teasers for what's about to happen, and then they cut to like the main clip. Because it breaks it up, so it's not just like clip, 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 or even replays, like one angle, other angle. It's like, oh, you're teasing like what's about to happen from this cool artsy perspective, and then there's the reveal, which I love, and I think they did it really well in this video, even better than Maven, arguably. Although I still think Maven was a better video overall.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really seeing too much reason to compare, I guess.
It's a competition always, Rene.
One thing I did want to say though is we often review videos on here. We often have some contrarian takes on them. We often give poor reviews. So should we like do something anytime we give like a good video review? Should we do like a 2 thumbs up? want to get in here. Yeah. All right. 2 thumbs up for Sandbox. Maybe the first, well, not the first ever. Well, the first ever 2 thumbs up officially, but you know, not the first video we've liked.
We've both liked.
Speaking of, I was listening to.
Wait, that's the thing about art, though, is art is interpreted differently by different people.
Yep.
Right. And so, even if both of us were like 2 thumbs down, which we're never gonna do on here. I don't want to do that.
I was actually about to jump somewhere else, but I did your interpretation of the '90s style. I need to comment on. So there is a thing. Okay, would you? Yes, they're all Gen Z.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gen Z, they're into camp, right? And I do think much of the style of dress.
Okay, so hold on. This word camp. You need to. You've said this is now the second time you've referenced it in this one talk, and this is the first time I've ever heard you ever say camp. So I need you to elaborate for people who are like me who don't really understand what campy is.
So it's like ironic for that's the point, right? It's like I'm gonna wear this like silly hat.
Gloves.
Because I know it's silly, or I'm gonna wear
gloves, right?
Like gloves for parkour.
Yeah. Like Josh Malone.
But often it's referred to with actually like eras of fashion.
Okay.
As well. But it's like it's to the point where it's ironic for the point of being ironic, but it's also like when you pull it off, it's not funny. It's cool.
Okay.
It's usually if you're doing camp correctly.
Okay.
Is how I would personally define it. Let us know in the comments your definition of camp or campiness. Anyways, it's there. It's in the style of dress. So they're all dressing. A lot of 90s fashion has kind of made a comeback with Gen Z. And I think that's also reflected in the video. I think that's actually part of what's happening is they're trying to intentionally make it look like this era. Like it's a style. And it's funny because I actually showed some of Manner's videos to Matteo Welsh, who filmed and edited Resilience, which is not in that style at all. It's in a more modern and cinematic style. But he actually really digs it. He really likes it. He thinks it's cool. Which doesn't surprise me because he's Gen Z and he also dresses kind of 90s.
So, I mean, okay, so that's not unique to Gen Z, though, because every generation has throwbacks to previous generations.
Right.
But what I wanted to say is that they did it super well for Sandbox. Like the whole 90s throwback. Okay. Whereas I think, there's been a number, and I'm not going to call out them, these other videos, but I have seen a number of parkour videos over the last few years where it's like, okay, you're filming it on like this shitty 90s camera for an aesthetic, and I just absolutely hate it because it's like, I don't know, like I like seeing high quality footage of parkour. It looks so much better. It's unarguable. Like you can't convince me that it looks better when you're filming it on a mini DV or whatever.
But the thing about this project, though, is I don't think they've switched cameras or anything.
No. I think it was a filter that they use or something that they put over.
Yeah, but like you got, there's a clip of, it shows Noah and he's holding like one of like the camcorders. So they're not using, because I think what you're more accustomed to is newer GoPros, newer DSLRs, probably being the main one, red cameras, things like that, where it's again ups the what most people would look at as production value. Yeah, but I think they're still shooting on the. I know the filter you're talking about, where like the grain.
Yes. Yeah.
The grain like little bits, but I think just for the rest of the video, they're still shooting with like the. There's a bit. Matteo actually knew the camera. He like knew it just from watching it because it has like a particular like long zoom and everything, and it's very it's still popular in skate. So like there's a lot of skate videos that will look like that still.
I came across somebody filming a clip for a skate video just around the corner from here actually, and I like stayed to watch, and I filmed the iPhone clip, and I airdropped it to him because I was stoked. I was like, oh, sick, yeah, like I get this, you know, like I understand, you know.
I'm doing what I would want some stranger to do for me right now.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, like that's like as long as the video doesn't have the stupid grain on it for the entire watch, and it's like picking and choosing like aesthetic choices to interact that, and I think that's what they did with Sandbox. I'm all for it. If we're going to 90s throwback, just don't make it look like the whole video like crap, you know? That's just the way it is.
So you were scared that the whole video was going to have this clean.
That's what I thought it was going to look like for the entire video, and I was like, I don't want to watch this. Yeah. And that was, you know, and maybe some people are stoked about it. Maybe they're like, yeah, like this is a cool trailer, super camp. But did I use it right? But that wasn't the case for me. But in the end, I'm very glad I watched it because I very much enjoyed it.
I was going to say earlier, I recently listened to the most recent Store podcast, and there's they bring up me specifically. They don't bring up us. They bring up me specifically because they're talking about my video, and I think it's Max says like, oh yeah, he talked a lot about the filming of videos of our video, and it's about the filming, and so like I couldn't wait or he didn't say he couldn't wait, but he said, you know, we'll see his project or whatever. But they did like Resilient, thank God. I'm really happy that they didn't just use it as fuel for that. It's tough getting in front of a camera with a microphone here and giving an honest take on how things are. And I think we've discussed together too, like it's also tough for us. Like I've seen so much parkour over the years. Sometimes I need to take breaks from Instagram or from videos because it just all looks the same. I'm actually impressed when people can continuously get like stoked on just like, did you see this clip or did you see this? And that have been doing it for, I guess, like more than 15 years. That's impressive to me. And I'm almost like, I actually have been thinking recently, like I want to start having a day where I just kind of like force myself to watch a bunch of stuff. Like, but not just watch it, but like study. Like I feel like I don't, we've talked about this before, like back in the day, a video would come out and you would study it. You know, a video would come out.
Obsess over it, watch it multiple times.
Yeah, you'd be like, I gotta learn what they're doing in here. And I just haven't been as moved to learn. Well, sometimes it's just hard. Like the game has changed so much that when there's like a new twist or a new technique, it's like, it's like I don't know if I have it in me right now to figure this out. Well, part of the reason for that is because I spent the last like 5+ years of my life just single-minded on finishing a project, so I'm not gonna start dabbling in other stuff. But as I start to want to like dabble a bit more, it's I don't know, it's tough. There's just so much coming at you all the time. And it's that's part of the reason why I watch a video like Ezzy's and I'm like, yeah, I'm into it, but also like so much of, if you had told me like in part of the video, like, do you remember this part? Like, no, don't.
Like, remember side unhalf pre?
I do remember that.
You do? Oh, okay,
cool. But there's certain things where I think other videos have come out in the past where someone's like, what about this part? What about this part? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to rewatch because it went, whew.
Yeah.
That was for, if you're listening, that sound effect was my hand going over my head.
Yeah.
It went over my head.
Great. Good end to that video.
Positive end.
Or that podcast. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in. We are now on a new YouTube channel. If you are listening to this on Spotify.
We keep saying this at the end.
You know what? Well, maybe we cut it out and put it at the beginning. So
sorry, continue with the outro.
Please subscribe and share with a friend. Tell them to subscribe. Tell them, hey, they're on a new YouTube channel, so you actually have to press that subscribe button again if you already subscribed to the original Origins Parkour.
And you know what we're gonna do for that too, is we're gonna start engaging with these comments. I've been trying. I'm trying to get in there. Yeah. You can find some evidence of that. But leave a comment. We do read them all. we're gonna start responding. We're gonna start including you guys in the conversation.
Excellent.
That's a promise.
2 thumbs up.